Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and welcome to a very awesome Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD battle. This one was pretty unique. It's a 3v3, but we have 4 of the armies fighting on land, so a 2v2 happening on land, and we've got a 1 versus 1 naval battle as well, so we've got kind of a coastal battle scenario-ish, if you will, going on. So we're going to kind of break this battle up into a few segments. So we're going to take a look at the 2v2 land battle first off, and then we're going to check out the 1v1 naval afterwards, and then we'll kind of wrap it all up in a nice conclusion, just because I don't really want to miss too much of the battle, and it's not very long. The actual length is about 20 to 25 minutes. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and this battle is going to look a little bit different than what I've usually put out on my channel. So again, constructive criticism, please. I'm really working to take some of your suggestions and make my channel better and make my videos better quality and more enjoyable to watch. So without further ado, let's take a look at the army compositions, and then we'll get the battle underway. So the first army we're going to take a look at is the Kingdom of France, commanded by the boss 11111, and a pretty elite army for France. They're a popular one in Medieval Kingdoms 1212. We do see them very, very often. So I've got the entire battle paused right now so we can take a look at the army comps before they're kind of moved around. So you'll kind of see the positioning of the soldiers kind of in the same spot, but I think that's just easier for looking at the army comps, and then we will unpause it later on. So in the front lines, he's got a couple of units of arbaletiers, which are a heavy crossbow unit. They've got Pavis shields on their backs as well, and then he has 1 unit of levy crossbowmen. This is a tier 2 medium bow. And then he has 2 units of these Franc archers, so French archers. And I've actually never seen anyone bring these before, which is pretty interesting. Most people who play France just go for crossbows for that armor-piercing damage. But these guys look pretty sweet, and I love the buckler shields on their backs as well. That looks really cool. So he has 2 units of them, so 5 archers total. And then we've got the spears next. So we've got some pevetiers, which is a high period spear. They've got some pretty nice size shields. And then we've got 3 of the elite spears as well, of the pevetier of the late period. So he has 3 of them. And this gentleman here looking pretty English. Don't know why you're looking so English while fighting with the French, but anyways. And then we'll take a look at his kind of meat of the army. So we've got 2 units of dismounted gens de cheval, which are a polearm infantry. These guys look awesome. Love the different colors. And then this one, I'm trying to get a little bit better in my pronunciation, but I could not really find an accurate pronunciation for this. It's something like Paleri, something like that, but I just kind of call them Paleri because my French is pretty trash. But he's got 2 foot home d'armes as well of the high period. And then he has a unit of gens de cheval. And this unit's pretty elite, but they only have 90 men as opposed to the regular 120 from the foot men-at-arms. So these are kind of like the foot knightly retinue, I believe, that the English can bring. They also only have 90 men, but they do look pretty sweet. For his cavalry, he's got 2 units of Gascon horsemen, 1 on either flank, and he's got 1 unit of home d'armes of the late period. And if we just swing way over here, over the trees, and right here, this is his general bodyguard, the bishop's retinue, who also looks very Holy Roman Empire-like. But yes, there he is. So that's it for the French. So let's go ahead and take a look at France's ally. So fighting next to France on the battlefield, we have the Kingdom of Norway. So remember, this is a 3v3, but 2 of them will be on land and 1 is at sea. So Norway and France are the ones that are on land for this battle. So let's go ahead and take a look at his army composition. You can already tell that he's bringing some Landwehren, some tier 2 pikemen. So let's start at the back with him. This one's commanded by Moronic as well. So he's got 3 units of these heavy pike infantry. These guys look really awesome, too. They kind of look like pike assassins, almost, with the chainmail that goes right up over, and then they've just got eye holes cut out. But, yeah, he's got 3 units of them. And then he has 6 units of Vapenir, which is their... That sounded a little French, Vapenir. And, yeah, these guys are pretty much staple infantry for Norway. They're really cost-effective. Even though they're Tier 2, they've still got excellent armor and excellent missile block chance as well. And I just wanted to draw attention to this glorious man here. Loving the halberd and the uniform. I love the closed face mask. Looks really sweet. Much more elite than the unit he's commanding, but hey. And then Moronics bringing 2 units of Candlemen, a Tier 1 spear unit. I think this is actually the best spears that Norway can bring. And then for his archers, he also has 5 units. So he has 3 units of the guests. And then he has 2 units of the Orkney Islanders. And these guys, I'd assume, are just a little bit less expensive than the guests. But, yeah, so that is all for Norway. So let's go ahead and take a look at their naval allies. Alright, so here is the mighty fleet that will be fighting alongside France and Norway. It is the Kingdom of Denmark, a very good seafaring faction, and this one is commanded by myself. So I've got, I think, 5 units of these Ledding Huskarl. So we can zoom down into them. They're the same as regular land Huskarls, but they're just on ships. So I've got 5 units of them. Nice, good shock troops. And then I've got 6 bows, which are right here, Ledding Bowmen. And these guys are pretty low tier. I think all of my units are tier 1. But I've got 6 of them, so hopefully I'll be able to use them effectively. And then I have... How many do I have here? 3, 6... 6 units of these Ledding Herdmen. So these are my best units. And also really cool shields. I don't remember this on the land herdmen having shields like this. So it's possible that this is just exclusive to the seafaring herdmen. But yeah, really love the shields. They look ready for battle. And then if we zoom way over here, I've got my general over here, who is also a Huskarl unit, Ledding Huskarl. And I have no idea where my general is on this ship. If you guys can see this, you win a prize. That is nothing. I'm not giving you a prize. But he is in there somewhere. He's probably the only one that doesn't have an axe. Oh! I win the prize. This must be him right here. Wow! He is glorious looking. Look at this guy. Definitely the Denmark colors. I am loving it. So far, my general, the flashiest general that we have seen so far. But, yeah, so that's it for the first side. So let's go ahead and take a look at the enemies. So looking at our opponents on the battlefield, the first army we're going to take a look at is the Kingdom of Serbia. And this is commanded by Hohen Master. And he's made my job very, very easy as far as his army comp goes. He's got 5 units of these Vlach heavy archers, and they look pretty sweet. And then he has 5 units of halberdiers. Now, 5 units does seem like a lot, but these guys are only tier 1, so they could get tore up by crossbows. Hohen's going to have to be really careful to protect them until he can get, you know, some good opportune charges off. And pretty nice mustaches by some of these guys as well. We got these like 2 twins ready to fight side by side on the battlefield. And then we got 5 units of these Bashnik swords. Really, really cool. I love they're not really buckler shields, but they're round shields, so they kind of remind me of Vikings, but not really. And they've also got some cool little headdresses as well, if you can see that. They've got like little feathers coming out of their helmets. But, yes, Kingdom of Serbia is a really underrated faction. I really do enjoy playing as them. The problem is that they just don't have a very versatile roster as far as infantry goes. But that's not to be said for their cavalry. They can have some really nice cav, including 3 units of these mercenary German knights, which is what Hohen Master is bringing. They are tier 3 heavy shock cavalry. And then I totally just passed the general. There we go. Oh, almost there. So the general, right there he is. I couldn't find him for a second. But that is Hohenmaster's general for the Kingdom of Serbia. Loving the Holy Roman Empire look with the ram's horns on the top of the helmet. So that is the Kingdom of Serbia. And let's take a look at Hohenmaster's ally on the land. So the final land army that we have to take a look at here is the Empire of Nicaea, commanded by AK Prime. And he's got a pretty nice army as well. We'll take a look at his archer force first. So he's got 5 units of these Mortatoi. And they've got some nice shields as well on their backs. Looks like a few of them are hiding, but we could get a better look at the ones that are out of the forest. So there they are. Love the Roman insignia as well, looking really, really nice. So he has 5 units of them, and then he has 2 units of this Skutatoi. It's an early period sword, and I think that they're probably just going to be used to maybe slow down enemy cavalry. They're only tier 1, so it's not like they're going to get too much work done, but... and then we got some Varangian Guard over here. These guys are awesome. Really love the Varangian Guard. Even though they're tier 1, I really don't agree that they are tier 1. I don't know, because I feel like they should be tier 2 just due to the period that the Varangian Guard existed. But I could be wrong. I actually don't know that for sure. And then we got a couple units of Spatheroi Guard. And I think that we're capped to 3 units, and it looks like he's brought those 3 units. And then he's got some Skutatoi Swordsmen. I think he has 3 units of them. Yes, he does. And then we've got a Heavy Horse Archer. And then he has 2 units of Dynatoi, late period knight. So he has 1 on either flank. And then there is the Emperor's Bodyguard right there. So that is the general for Nicaea. So now we just have to take a look at the final force, and then we can get the battle started. Okay, the last army we have to take a look at is the Empire of Trebizond, and that is commanded by Hamdog CDXX. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, oh, I thought that there was only 2 armies that were supposed to be on land, and then there's 1 that is... Alright, so we have to look at one final army before we get the battle started. This is the Empire of Trebizond, commanded by Hamdog CDXX. And he had his general and a couple units of cavalry deployed on the battlefield. So that's why we're going to look at them first, and then we'll take a look at his fleet. For some reason, the game just wouldn't allow him to bring a general that wasn't... that was on a ship. We couldn't get him to bring it for some reason. So he's brought a few units on land. So here is his Emperor's Bodyguard here. And then he's got 2 units of high period Dynatoi. And then the rest of his force we will take a look at way over here. You can see that they're facing off against my forces. So he's got, I think, 4 units of these mercenary Italian Mariane Armati. That is a mouthful, goodness. So actually he has 4 units of them. And then he has 6 units, obviously on much bigger ships, of these Trebizond Heavy Marines. So, yeah, they're looking ready for battle. They've got nice purple pants on. Some of them do, anyways. So he's got 6 of them. And then he's got some archers over here. Got some archer marines. And he's brought 2 of these catapult ships as well. So hopefully he can get some good kills with them. The front line we've already looked at. So there's his other catapult ship. There's his other archer unit. And more of his heavy marines. And the last 2 we have to look at here are these seamen here. He's brought 2 units of Prosalente seamen, which look very, very light. They don't even have armor on. So they should be easy pickings, hopefully. So yeah, a lot of you guys wanted me to do more extensive army composition, so I hope that that was extensive enough for you. If you guys would prefer as well, I can actually leave the HUD up so you can see the different stats of each unit, but I'm not sure if that's completely necessary. You guys could definitely find that out on your own time. So let's take a look at the land battle first, and then we'll get to the sea battle afterwards, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the battlefield, guys. And as you can see, the battle is already underway with the French actually making an aggressive push through the forest. They've DeBoss has deployed his entire army inside the forested terrain, and he's got a good position with his spears here, and now he's using his Frankish archers to fire down on the ranks of the Empire of Nicaea. Now, the Empire of Nicaea is trying to get a more favorable position as well. If we kind of pull up to see the deployment here, Moronic is being quite smart with the Norwegians as well, deploying closer to his ally. It looks like the Serbians are content to stay on the valley floor, though. And DeBoss has really pushed a lot of his cav up onto the crest of this hill. However, the Empire of Nicaea, he's got his Varangian Guard here. He's got his 2 units of spears. He's got pikes. He's got his cav. So he is not in danger at all of the enemy cavalry. Now, he will have to be careful of this unit of dismounted gens de cheval that is closing in. I'm not sure where the first kind of assault is going to be. It looks like DeBoss has got a couple of his units of foot-homed arms and the Polari onto the flanks, and the Empire of Nicaea is pushing forwards his Skutatoy swordsmen in shield wall. So I'm not sure who's going to end up making the first charge, but we will just kind of stick around and see the beginning of the assault. And we do have some fire coming down on this Skutatoy swordsman. That was actually not bad. I think it's the Polari over here, this very cheap sworded unit that is going to get the first charge. Well, along with this foot-homed arms that is charged in as well. So there we go. It looks like the battle has begun. The Skutatoy swords are kind of spread out quite a bit, but I think they should be able to hold for a little bit of time. And it looks like we just got a kind of a stalemate over here, just staring down at each other. I think each player is utilizing their archers to the best of their ability, but we've just got a massive melee over here. Looks like we got the Pavetsier pushed forwards, but we've got the Menelatoi, I think is what they're called. No, Kontoratoi, that are pushing forwards through the spear wall. We can go ahead and put this on slow motion for now and kind of take a look at the front lines. And we've got the dismounted gens de cheval over here fighting against the pikemen, but I think that that is not in their favor, just due to the fact that the halberds tend to not be able to reach as far as the pikes can. They still haven't taken any casualties. Meanwhile, the dismounted gens de cheval have taken 1. They are doing a number on these spears that are in the center. These early period Skutatoy are probably getting torn up. Can go ahead and put this back on play. It's going to be a little bit framey. It is a pretty big battle, being that it's a 3v3. Yeah, I always love forest battles like this, especially ones that really just take off quite quickly. Looks like France does have some of his units in reserve. He's got his dismounted chevalier that are kind of just waiting. But we've got some preliminary charging over here by the Dynatoy trying to catch the guests, and it looks like they actually are going to Moronic trying to pull his pikes up to stop that charge, but then actually turning them around at the last second. So they are getting their pikes down now, which is good, but looks like the guests had to fight in melee a little bit there. Don't think that was something they were expecting to do today. How much damage did he actually do to the... He's actually broke the guest, which is really good, and these Landwehren are apparently losing in melee to this cavalry. So that is not good. Norway is kind of known as an underpowered faction. I really love a lot of their unique units. But they just don't seem to kind of stand up to the medieval armies of England, France, and the Holy Roman Empire like this. Not the Holy Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. But it looks like we've actually got a flank going on over here by the Spatharoy Guard. Let's go ahead and pop this onto slow motion. I think that's why we've got some Vapenir being pushed up from the Norwegian lines to get a flank on the flankers. But yeah, let's just go ahead and enjoy this fight here for now. And if you look way down there in the distance, you can see that the naval battle is just about to kick off. But don't worry, we will get to that very soon. I love these Byzantine units, or these Nicaean units, though, with their red capes. Just looks so epic. The Vapenir are kind of just chilling here. I'm not sure if they're going to be charging in, but we've got this Dynatoy over here that is looking for another juicy target. I'm not sure what they're going to be going for. Over here, it looks like, though, that we've got a cavalry engagement going on here. So the mercenary German Knights taking on the Ritter. That is a battle that the German Knights will 100% win. Let's go ahead and pop this onto play again. You can just tell that the German Knights are so much more armored. They've got, well, not necessarily, I guess. The Ritter do have some plate armor. It's just not as extensive as the German Knights. However, it looks like these Candlemen are here to give their cavalry the edge, but unfortunately they aren't being pushed into melee over here. Looks like they are, though, over here, but I think it's just too late. The Serbians moving forwards their halberdiers, and that is going to be a problem. I think that the Norwegians are trying to use what's left of their archers to pepper down those halberdiers. But over here, what do we got? We got King Ingus of Norway actually having to take on the Dynatoy, so it is a little bit dire over here, actually. Let's pop this on a slow motion once again. See if we can see the Dynatoy getting slaughtered. However, I think they've done their job. They have caused quite a bit of havoc on the battlefield here today. And this is only one unit as well. Is this guy still fighting?
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful
Looks like we got some more Vapenir being pushed over here, but I think that Norway needs to look to his own lines. If we turn back on the HUD here, he's got all of his infantry over here, but it's so far away from his actual cavalry engagement, and he's left all of his archers open to attack. He's also got these pikes over here, but he needs to get a front line going over here before these halberdiers form up. Looks like all the Bashniks as well are being pushed into position. Well, let's go ahead and jump over and see how the French are doing still. It looks like their spear line has been actually broken in the center. If we zoom through these trees, you can see that the Spatheroid Guard are actually engaging some of the Homme d'Armes. And over here, though, they are actually losing to the Pavadiers, so it's not over for the French by a long shot. There we go. See some Spatheroid Guard versus French spear action. Oh, he's getting pushed over to the side. Looks like the Scutatoy swords have broken, though. They are retreating from the French lines. Let's go ahead and zoom through the trees over here and see this fight. I think this is where the Holy Roman Empire is... I keep wanting to call them the Holy Roman Empire. The Empire of Nicaea has the edge, just having their pikemen here. Because the halberdiers, yeah, they are really depleted, down to 37 men on this one, and 75 on this one. And the Varangian Guard actually in melee as well, but I'm not sure, maybe they're pulling back. Looks like they're kind of leaving the battlefield. A couple of them getting cut down in the back. Oh, and he lost his head to a Jean de Cheval. That's going to be a story for the pub later. Let's go ahead and pop this back onto regular speed. I'm trying not to give away too much of that naval battle. I know you guys are probably looking over there, but I'm not going to be pointing the camera over that way. So we got the Scutatoy swordsman over here. We got some more swords, again, fighting against the French. The spears still holding quite well. In the center, the Spatheroid Guard looks like they are being beaten back by the French. Let's take a look in the center here. Wow, we've got...
Allies general is dead.
Oh, that's not good. Whose general would that be? That might be Ingus. Not sure if that would be Ingus of Norway. Who is this over here? Some Dynatoy broke into the horse archers. No, Ingus of Norway is still alive, so that would be actually be de Boss's general, the French.
Our men have regrouped.
I don't even actually see his unit where they would be, but yeah, let's go ahead and focus on Norway now. Looks like he does have his pikemen forming up in a pretty solid line, which is good. They are taking on the Bashnik swords, but I think that this is a position that favors the Norwegians. Like I said before, Bashnik swords, they just don't really seem to perform too well in open melee. Which is too bad, because it's really one of their best units. But we've got some of the Bashnik swords pushing through the lines to get at the pikemen themselves, causing a few of them to drop their pikes. I'm not sure how well the Cav engagement is going over here. They are still holding, but only the Candlemen basically fighting these halberdiers now. So this cavalry engagement over here has turned into an infantry engagement. But these halberdiers definitely have the edge over the Candlemen. Oh, they're just getting cut down in the sides too, as they're trying to fight another unit. Yeah, just tons of them falling. Looks like we got some German knights that are free to kind of roam around and do as they please. The last of the Norwegian cavalry is broken. The Ritter is fleeing the battlefield. And we've got a lot of archers kind of out in the open here. We're going to have to kind of pay attention and see what's going on there. The Empire Nicaea, A.K. Prime's general bodyguard, a little bit banged up, but he's still in the fight. And looks like we've got some crossbows being run down, but the Abaletier, with their big Pavi shields, they are going to hold their own in melee, which is good to see. But not for too long, I'd imagine. Especially fighting cavalry, infantry. Yeah, not looking good for the French over here. If we kind of zoom out and take a look at what the French have left, it's not really that much at all. It's mostly down to Norway over here. I think the French, King Inges is engaged in melee, but one unit of French crossbowmen is all that remains. Let's take a look here. King Inges, like I said, he is engaged in melee. Unfortunately, he actually tries to pull his general out of the battle, and that is really a bad thing to do, especially in medieval kingdoms. Oh, that guy just slaughtered that cavalry unit. When you pull out your unit, especially a general, it's almost never worth it. Just due to the fact that you lose so many of the unit just pulling them out, you might as well just keep them in melee at that point. But how we looking over here? Yeah, Norway is starting to get beaten back as well. It looks like we've got the Emperor's bodyguard from Hamdog CDXX, the Empire of Trebizond. He is wanting to get his sword wet as well. And this massive blob of archers is just ripe for the taking. Yeah, look at that. Mercenary German knights from one side. We got the general on the other side, and here comes Trebizond just to lend the last helping hand in slaughtering Norway. What a battle. So I think that pretty much effectively wraps up the land battle. We'll take a look and see. There's a few units still fighting, but they are going to be breaking very soon. Yeah, you can see Norway has just capitulated there. They folded into the might of the Empire of Trebizond and the Empire of Nicaea and the Kingdom of Serbia as well. So that's it for the land battle, and they're going to move forwards to the beach and watch the naval assault, and that's what we're going to go do now. So I'll see you on the water. Alright guys, welcome to the naval assault in this battle. So you've already seen the 2v2 that happened on land, and now you're going to see an epic naval clash. And right away, the Danes make a huge mistake. They didn't calculate for the weight of their ships, and when sending orders for the men to attack and giving them their attack orders, per se, the small, lighter bow ships actually outran the heavy herdmen that were supposed to reinforce. And it looks like the Empire of Trebizond is going to take advantage of that very quickly by already routing the leading bowmen that have been pushed in too far ahead of the main force. You can see we've got some ramming going on there. I'm quickly trying to fire my bows down onto these massive, massive ships, but unfortunately they caught us in melee. You can see the troops are now jumping over the ships, and they're just going to slaughter my poor archers. So this was a massive mistake on my part. I didn't expect the bow ships to be that fast. They just like took off, and my herdman ships were just chugging like coal-fired trains. But finally, my herdmen are starting to get into melee. Unfortunately, though, pretty much all of my archers are routing. But this does give me a bit of, I wouldn't say an advantage, but I did manage to kind of lock up a lot of the heavy marines. You can see that my general over on this flank is still going to be able to flank around. And I still have these 5 units of Huskarls as well. And all that's defending the bows and the catapult ships is 2 units of heavy marines. Meanwhile, I have 5. And look at the balance of power on some of these now that the herdmen have already started to engage. We've got some of the mercenary Marini Armati, but they're not going to be able to stand up against my herdmen. These guys are proper raiding, sea-going men. With Denmark as well, their troops that do the raiding on the ship should be of a pretty high caliber. So yeah, we are pushing them back over here. You can see that Hamdog, he did land a few units of his. He landed his 2 units of seamen with the Dynatoy and the general. So now they are moving away from the beach to go and join in the land fight. But yeah, just look at this scrap. It's pretty crazy. You can see that a couple of my herdmen are starting to waver, but the rest of them doing really well, starting to waver the heavy marines. And here we go. We've got the heavy marines actually engaged with the Huskarls, and look at that balance of power. Looking really good for us. Let's go ahead and turn the HUD off. You can see that they're a little bit tentative about charging forwards into these heavy axes. There we go. Again, it's something about, sorry that it's so framey, it's something about naval battles that really seem to kill my frames, but I guess we could actually put this into slow motion so that it calms down a little bit and maybe enjoy a little more of the battle. Yeah, these Huskarls are just pushing, and you can see across the way to the Huskarls that are engaged as well. They've got their axes up, they're cheering. Looks like a couple of them are jumping across to boats. Oh, they're jumping back on their ships, yeah. So already the heavy marines are starting to waver. Now, this unit of Italian Armati, I was really shocked, but they actually broke my herdmen over here. But meanwhile, the other herdmen that I had that were free are kind of able to flank around, as I said before. And the Armati over here are just getting pinned up against the end of my longship here. And my general is actually, I think, right at the front. Yes, he is. Can see my general right there, inspiring his men. This is just such a bad position to be in if you were a soldier of Trebizond. Oh, wow, though. A lot of men falling in that kind of push forwards. But it's a bad position because they're all trapped right at the end of the longship like this. That's pretty funny to see, but yeah, a lot of the melee is going my way, which is good. Really happy to see that. The heavy marines against the herdmen, it's a pretty close match, but my herdmen, I think, do have the edge. Over here as well, looks like these guys have climbed back onto their ship. They are cheering, and over here as well, pushing the marines off their ship. Actually, they are completely surrounded over here. As you can see, a lot of dead bodies there. There's like a handful of Marines that are still standing amidst all the herdmen. So I guess I even, without even knowing it, I got a flank off on the ship here. Because I've got the one unit of herdmen that came on the back of the boat, and I've got one that came on the front of the boat. That's pretty hilarious. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. My Huskarls that are free now are able to kind of go around and get the archers, but Hamdog's not giving up without a fight. You can see that he's really torching one of my Huskarl ships over here. It is a smoky business over here. I think they were glitched out. I was trying to get them to move forwards, but they just wouldn't move over to get the other ship. And they're actually facing the wrong way, too, so they're just soaking up the enemy fire right now. This guy is crawling, but that is actually a nice shot there. Let's get a little screenshot there. The Huskarl's holding, but yeah, otherwise it's looking pretty good over here, I think. Let's go ahead and put this back onto play. Grouping up my forces a little bit too much over here, but it's alright. As soon as we break these heavy Marines, it's pretty much GG for the Empire of Trebizond, except for their land units, which we will have to deal with very shortly. Oh, that was a little glitchy. Looks like we're actually crashing into our own boat, and these guys are jumping into the water. So it looks like they're drowning. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So a couple of them tried to make it back onto their ships, but it did not work. Actually, I think is this the only guy that made it back from his unit? Wow, you are one lucky guy, my friend. One guy makes it back onto the ship. Unfortunately, one man is not enough to steer or pilot that ship, that's for sure. But just, yeah, we finally caught up to the catapult ships as well. They didn't really get too many kills. This one got 0. This one got 13, but nothing to really write home about. And, yeah. If we kind of zoom out so you guys can see what's going on, a lot of the troops for Empire of Trebizond are starting to waver over here. But his general is not dead because he's on land, so at least that kind of gives him the edge that he's not putting his general into danger. Because my general, he's down 87 men, so he's definitely seen some action. Here we go. Let's watch these Huskarls getting revenge for their brothers that were cut down by the archer Marines. Yeah, that's right. How dare you try to break the Danish forces at sea? Better luck on land. And I'm pursuing with this longship over here as well. Let's see if we can insert in. Yeah, we can. That looks awesome. Get a nice ram here. And we should actually be able to flank around these swords as well. Nice. These guys got some hops, too. I would be so unlucky. I'd probably, like, slip on the banister and, like, fall down in between the ships. Oh. There we go. I think this is one of the last units that is still alive for Trebizond on the sea. Let's go ahead and zoom out and just confirm that. Yeah, so they got one archer ship. They've got one of their catapult ships. This unit of Armadi is going to take on the Huskarls, but they're on their way out. Oh yeah, and here 2 units of my Huskarls are glitched out. They cannot move because this retreating ship is blocking them. That was really frustrating to see. Of course, the Archer Marines are going to take nice advantage of that by firing into the ranks of my poor Huskarls. But other than that, it looks like it's going to be a victory. So Yeah, the balance of power, though, not looking too good, because there is a very healthy force on land that is still alive and ready to receive me. But we'll just kind of... What's
Men
this?
have given up and are running for their lives.
I didn't see this. It looks like... looks like some of my herdmen actually broken by these archer marines. They must have put up a pretty good fight. But no matter, I've got some Huskarls closing in here. They're trying to get the ship out of there, but that's not going to happen. And are they still fighting someone? No, they're not. So, but these Huskarls should be able to wrap this fight up. Does anybody recognize this head? How about you you figure that out later, all right? I don't think it's going to help the owner that much anymore if you do find which body that head belongs to.
That is insolent at best. Men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
Please tell me they didn't break my Huskarls as well. Yeah, they did. Oh my goodness, these archer marines, 147 kills. They are really doing well, but that's GG, because here comes my general to finally finish them off. I guess don't send boys to do a man's work. And over here we've caught the catapult crew as well. They've tried to escape the battle, but we're gonna grab a hold of them before they leave. So yeah, that's the end of the naval invasion. Or not really an invasion, but a naval battle. So let's kind of... I'm just going to cut it here, and we'll start the battle again at the final phase. So here ends the final phase of the battle. So my general, he could have run. He could have. He could have taken what was left of his elite Danish warriors and fled now that there was no boats from the enemy able to chase him. But he thought, no. He wanted the Empire of Trebizond to pay, and pay in full. So he is charging forwards what's left of his soldiers into the Trebizond units. I was going to say Trebizondian, but that is definitely not how you would pronounce things. But yeah, just get rid of the last of these seamen here, and then hopefully we could be able to kill the general as well. So I've landed my herdman first, along with my general, I believe. Yeah, my general is right over here, as you can see. We're actually doing well against this unit of seamen, but over here, I believe this is the Serbians. Yeah, it is, just peppering down my forces that we're trying to flank around. And we've got the Dinatoi from the Empire of Trebizond as well that are going to be charging in here. Just no mercy to these poor Huskarls that are going to just get trounced right now. Yeah, nice charge there by the Dinatoi, really ruining all hope of a flank. I'm sure that the King of Denmark, or the General of Denmark, is looking over, and he sees his flanking force get destroyed. However, we do have a couple of depleted units over here against the Emperor's bodyguard. So let's go ahead and put this on play here. So this is my general versus their Hamdog's general. And there is Hamdog's general right there, spurring his men on, but my Huskarls are just ripping them down, and now we've actually flanked around them. It's hard for me to even keep tabs on them here. He is trying to run his general down to the beach, but I've got another unit of Huskarls that are going to help out my general. He did get a nice cycle charge into my general, but my general is right there. He's still alive. And I think that is Hamdog's general gone. Yes, it is, because he only has a few more units here that are still fighting on. So I guess Denmark is the victor here, because the general was able to completely destroy all hopes of the Emperor of Trebizond ever being able to launch any more offenses But actually, no, the Danes did lose this battle, as you can see. Valiant defeat, but a really, really fun battle, and it was really diverse. I really appreciate battles that aren't like the typical 12-12 battles. So, you know, armies line up, they charge, and that's it. I really like this kind of multi-tiered assault, and we had some land and some sea, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results here before we end the replay. So here are the players that joined, so thanks very much. I appreciate all of you guys supporting my battle. Here's my forces. 149 by the general, that is really good. My Huscarls, 182, 111. This unit of Huscarl, 186, so the Huscarls really paying for themselves. Herdman getting average kills, this one 153, so that's not bad. Looking at Moronic's army as Norway, yeah, those Candlemen really suffered. Pikes could have got higher. The Vapnir, this one doing well, but the rest not so much. His archers, though, doing really well, but his cavalry really suffering there against the might of the German cavalry fighting for Serbia. DeBoss's army here. Looks like the bishop's retinue actually got 0 kills. And his spears did solid. They did hold. His Jean de Cheval did okay, I would say. Arbaletier, 147. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Hamdog's general, though, 163 kills. Not too bad. 145 by those Italian Armati. They're actually a lot more solid than I thought they were going to be. The rest of his units, I mean, 142, 159 by those Archer Marines. They were OP, but nothing by the catapults, and the Cav doing all right. And the Serbians, Halberdiers, doing pretty solid. The Bashnik Swords, they held their own against the Pikemen. Pretty standard kills for the Vlach Archers, but 238 and 135, so German Knights really paying for themselves there. And AK Prime, 150 by the General. I think that's the most. No, 163, so pretty close second there. His pikemen also doing pretty solid. Spatheroid Guard solid. 126 by Varangian Guard. They always seem to do pretty well. And Cav doing well. Archers doing well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And leave a comment. I'm always, like I said, always open to constructive criticism or things that you would like to see me do better. But yeah, that's about it. So I will see you in the next one.